can you solve this geometry challenge? Here's the question. So let's start our year in this geometry puzzle. And this is also known as the world's hardest, easy geometry problem because the question is just find the value of this angle x. And to find this, we have the given, this angle right over here measures 20 degrees. This angle measures 20 degrees also. This is 60 degrees, this is 50 degrees, and this one is 30 degrees. So the goal is to find the angle x. So pause this video right now and see if you can answer this question, because I will show you the answer and the solution in 3, 2, 1. Alright, the answer or the value of this angle x simply equal to 30 degrees. Now the question is, how do we get 30 degrees? So here's the solution. Alright, so before we begin to our solution, let's name some important points. So let's call this vertex as A, this is B, and this is C. Now this base angle is both equal to 80 degrees and the vertex angle is 20 degrees. So we can say that this triangle ABC is an isosceles triangle. Therefore, AC equals to BC. Alright, now what's next? What we're going to do is to name some important points like this one. Let's call this as point B. This is point E and this is point F. Now from here, what we're going to do is to construct segment GB. So let's call this point as G and this intersection as H, such that GB equal to segment AE. Now, if they are equal, this angle 30 degrees split into two angles because this angle right over here, this is 20 degrees and the other one is 10. So we can split this 30 as 10 and 20 degrees because they are symmetric. Now, take note, this triangle AHB, take note that this angle have a base angle of 60 and 10 plus 50 or 60 also. Therefore, the other angle is also 60. In short, this triangle ABH is an equilateral or equiangular triangle. So this angle is 60 degrees. Now, vertical angles are congruent. So this angle right over here on the top is also 60 degrees. Now, since triangle ABH is an equilateral triangle, we can say that AB equals AH equals BH. We will use this information later on. Now, let's connect GE such that GE is parallel to segment AB. Now, since GE is parallel to AB, we have two similar triangles right over here. So we can say that triangle ABH is similar to triangle GEH. It follows that this triangle GEH is also an equilateral triangle or equiangular triangle. So this angle right over here is simply equal to 60 degrees also. And the other angle, GEH, is also 60 degrees. Alright, now from here, let's focus on this triangle ADB. Because, take note, the sum of the interior angle of any triangle adds up to 180 degrees. We have here 50 degrees. This is 80 degrees. Therefore, the other angle is 50 degrees. So, the base angle are equal. Therefore, this triangle is an isosceles triangle. It follows that AB equals AD. Now, since AB equals to AD and AB equals to AH, we can say that AD equals AH. So now, let's connect D and H. Why? Because we will focus on this triangle ADH. Since AD equals AH, we can say that this triangle ADH is an isosceles triangle. It follows that the base angle are equal. Now, this is 20 degrees, so 80 degrees minus 20 degrees is 160 degrees divided by 2. So this base angle is 80 degrees. Now, here comes the climax of our calculation or computation. Because take note, the straight angle adds up to 180 degrees. Now, this is 60 degrees, this is 80 degrees, so the other angle simply equal to 40 degrees. Now, let's focus on this triangle AGB. Again, the sum of the interior angle of any triangle adds up to 180 degrees. This is 80 degrees. This is 60 degrees. So the other angle on the top simply equal to 40 degrees. Now, let's focus now on this triangle GDH. The base angle are equal. Therefore, this triangle GDH is an isosceles triangle. It follows that side DH equals to DG. Alright, now, take note also that this triangle GEH is an equilateral triangle. Now, since we know this GEH is an equilateral triangle, we can say that segment HE is also equal to segment GE. Now, here comes the trick. DE is equal to DE for sure by reflexive property. Now, using SSS postulate or side-side-side postulate, we can say that triangle DEH is congruent to triangle DGE. Now, it follows that this angle right over here is also equal to X because they are congruent. Alright? And take note that this triangle GEH is an equilateral triangle. Therefore, this angle right over here adds up to 60 degrees. So we can say that X plus X equals 60 degrees. It follows that X equals 30 degrees. And that is our answer to this question. Therefore, the answer to the world's hardest easy geometry problem is 30 degrees. And as always, we are done.